Hello everyone, welcome to my project for this week. We were asked to create an assignment that works with the tools that we've been learning about so far. So I decided to create an assignment for my future history students that kind of combines a lot of the things that we've been doing, and in my opinion, it makes for a really collaborative assignment. So like a lot of history teachers, I do have a hard time getting my kids interested in history because a lot of them just think it's a bunch of boring dead white people and why should they have to learn about it. With this project, my goal is to have them tie really important parts of history to what's happening in today's world so that they can make those connections and realize the significance of history. So for this assignment, I'm having them tie movements during the civil rights era to the similar movements that are taking place today. Basically, they have to make those connections to see how one has influenced the other. So to start off, my students would be using Google Forms, sorry, not Forms, the Google Sheets in order to sign up for their topic proposals. So this is a sample project sign up that I created, and this is something that I would share with my students so that they can just hop online and sign up from home. So as you can see, it's a really simple form. On the left, I just have their student names, and on the right, their project topics. And this way too, they can see what other people are doing. So if they see like a lot of people are focusing on gay rights, they might decide to do something different, or they can kind of get feedback and maybe do similar things or find other people that want to do a similar project. So it starts off here with our project sign up. And then what I would have them do, and they're in their groups, or if they want to do it individually, I would want them to create a Google Docs for their research. So again, this is just a quick little sample of what I would be looking for. So they want to throw all of their information onto this Google Doc form, and they can go back and change it, edit it, put all of their ideas into one document so that they can start working on their project. Now, the meat of the project, I would have them create a website. So this is a sample website that I made, and I can use this to show students what they're looking for without giving them too much information to take from it. I didn't do a full project for them because, again, sometimes kids will just take things they shouldn't. So instead of doing class presentations, because they can get a little monotonous and repetitive, I would have my students create a website that everyone would be able to visit. So this is my sample website here. So they have certain requirements. As you can see, these are the pages that are required for them. So this would be their home page. And so in my website, I decided to give them a little spiel about what they need. So introduce your topic here, and then I give them 4 bullet points for what they need on this page. Continuing on, they need to have a page focused on the civil rights era. So again, it's up to them how they design it and what they need. Unfortunately, this decided to get in my way here, but just like the last page, it's just a quick rundown and then some bullet points of what they need on this page. And it also saves paper because I don't have to print out directions. The directions are all online. Modern day, so again, same type of thing. I give them a breakdown of what they need. So also for this part of the project, I included Twitter, so that microblogging. And so I would want my students to create a Twitter account so that they could follow these movements and see what's going on today. There's nothing better to find out what's going on today than to follow someone on Twitter. So I made a sample Twitter account, Lubeck student, and just to give them an example of what I'm looking for when they're tweeting or who they're following. So I retweeted some really interesting things that relate to this topic. And so they have these samples to look at. Additionally, I showed them who I would be following if I were to be focusing on this subject so they can kind of get an idea of who they want to follow. And as you can see, there's really only like a couple of people. The rest are organizations or communities that are focused on gay rights today. And so they would have to do that. And again, I have their bullet points here for what they need to put on this page. The future, this page, what I would want them to do is kind of predict where the movement will be headed. Like I said, I really am trying to connect the past with the present and as well as the future. Follow the trend. Where do you think this might be going? Of course, last but not least, as a historian, what are your resources? So they would put their resources on this page in proper MLA format, of course, because that's something they need to practice. Last but not least, for this project, I did want to include Google Forms for student feedback because we're not doing presentations, so they don't necessarily get to hear immediate feedback. So again, I give them directions on what they need for this, and I made a sample student form here, and they can create whatever questions they want. I just did a few so that they could get a general idea of what was required. So the name, obviously you want to know who's writing to you. I think having that as a requirement also ensures that students are held accountable for what they're saying to another student. I feel like if it was made anonymous, we could run into some issues with, sometimes students say things that they don't mean or they don't really think about what they're saying. So I just did some basic questions, what's your favorite part of the website? What needed improvement? What piece of information did you find to be the most interesting? And so it's basically, I would leave it up to the students what they want to know from their peers and leave it kind of open-ended. But I do require that they have a student feedback form, and I would want them later to share that with me so I can see what kind of feedback they got. And I would obviously fill out the form too and go from there. So basically that was my quick rundown. That's what I have planned for this assignment. I wanted to incorporate as many things as possible that we learn because there's a lot of really cool tools, but really the goal of this is to get my students working together on a project that doesn't necessarily have to even be completed in the classroom. They can work on it from home quite easily if they have a joint account when they're creating their website, Google Docs, joint account, same thing with forms. They can both work on it together, whether they're in the classroom or outside of the classroom. But overall, I hope you've enjoyed this assignment that I created. I appreciate any and all feedback. But for that, thank you for watching.